Welcome in. It is the Spare Time Bowling Show here on the Odyssey app, wherever you're downloaded and listening to us at Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever the case may be. Steve Sparky Fifer along with Dwight Albrecht. He is Phil Brylow over there, $2 Phil. And try number 2. And you people are probably asking, what are you talking about? Try number 2. Well, I'll explain in a second. Cassie and Stefan Hoehnen join us now, owners of H5G brand. We did this a few weeks ago, all of us. And it was really damn good, folks. I mean, it was really good. We got done. And the three of us here in the studio, Phil, Dwight, and myself, were like, man, that was really good. It was funny. It was entertaining. It was really good. And then I downloaded the audio and there was none. So that was a complete waste of time. And it took a long time, but we finally figured out what happened and we should be good to go now, thankfully. Okay, so first things first. I have a bone to pick with Stefan. We're starting with you.
All right.
My bone is this. I, as you know, I'm Steve Sparky Fifer, but my first name is Stephen. I'm Steven. You're Stefan. Tell me why that is.
I got nothing. My name, I think, was picked from a movie called All the Right Moves with Tom Cruise, and his name was Stefan in the film. So that's what I got to go on.
Okay, it's like Stephen Curry.
Sure, I think it might have even been spelled that way. So maybe you're spelling it wrong. I'm not.
Yeah. So I am Stephen John Fifer the fourth in my family.
4 times wrong, then. Okay.
4 times wrong, possibly. Yes. Like Curry, Stephen Curry. It's Stephen, but it looks like Steven, right? Yeah. Everyone's like, it should be spelled Steven if it's supposed to be Steven, and it's a whole long thing, but either way, I had to break it up. I just thought it was funny. Okay, let's talk about the H5G brand, how it all started, how it all got off the ground to kind of where we are now with you guys.
Yeah, so the brand initially started with my dad. He started it about 12 years ago. It started as a hobby, something fun. He is very passionate about the sport. We all are involved in the sport in many different ways. So he started it, started traveling, getting involved in it. And it kind of just grew from there. There was a bunch of different things and products that they tried, all the way from bowling jerseys to a golf line at one point. There was fishing at one point. And just kind of went and looked to see what worked, what didn't work, what's going to stick, what didn't stick. Bowling's really the niche, obviously, for this company. We can do different things. We can do pretty much anything. But bowling is really where the heart and soul of this company is. And so then last year, my dad decided it was time for him to retire. He was ready. He was done. He also had an IT company. And he kind of just wanted to start winding down, going and playing golf more. And so Stefan and I decided that we were going to jump in and take over. Like I said, we both are very involved in bowling as well. We have some centers. We're in one of them today. And so it was just kind of natural for us to jump in, take over, and continue on.
Well, it's pretty neat how you mentioned bowling's key. And I walked in the door here today and it flipped open to the H5G Facebook page, and you guys signed Brad and Kyle. That's pretty darn cool with the reach that they have. That's absolutely huge. What brought them over H5G's way?
Because we're cool people.
I fully agree. I've partied with them in Portland, so yeah, I fully agree.
They've definitely always, it's been nice because they've always worn our brand to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
So you almost would have thought they would have been on our staff. But I mean, going back and forth with them, that we all came to the decision that was the right move to make.
So one thing that we're really trying to evolve and go with the brand is not only is it the apparel, but really growing our staffers' brands for them as well. And so that was something that Brad and Kyle already had done a really great job of. And we wanted to be able to just continue to do that and do that a little bit more for them. These guys are bowlers, right? That's what they're really good at. And so we wanted them to be able to focus on that and then us continue the brand that they already started and take it to that next level for them. We have some fantastic designers, and we wanted them to be able to display that work with Brad and Kyle's brand on top of that. And then we're going to kind of do that back end work for them of like the website and managing those orders and then creating, developing, and getting them out for them so they don't have to worry about that piece anymore.
Nice. One-stop shop.
Mhm.
Talk about the H5G material that is used. There's other competitors, of course, that are out there, but talk about what makes you guys so special. And now you also are getting into the pants. So I would assume Kyle Troop places quite a few orders with you guys.
Kyle used to be on our staff. He is not, unfortunately, anymore. So he does wear our stuff though when he's in like the PBA special events, because we do have that contract with them, where we're exclusive. So we do make those orders. So he does get to wear them then. But the material itself is something that my dad put a lot of time and effort into. So all the time he was constantly looking for what's the next best thing. So he was constantly sourcing new material, vendors, all that kind of stuff. At the end of last year, I think we finally found a great material that we're going to be sticking with. So it's a very soft, smooth, great feeling material. It's got a little bit of stretch to it, which people tend to like, but it's very breathable feeling still, right? So when you put it on, it feels very comfortable and you stay nice and cool in it. And then we kind of did the same thing with those pants. So we went back and we were trying to feel, what is that pant that almost feels like you're not wearing anything?
Hey.
But
I don't recall her trying the pants on yet, but okay.
Well, but it keeps you cool. It's comfortable. But we can still get that great design into both of those materials, because it takes into that dye sublimation.
How does the process of design go from you guys? So you sign a bowler. How much input does that bowler have as far as what the colors are going to be, or what the design is supposed to be? Because as I'm sitting here listening to this, I'm kind of thinking like wrestling, right? How the guys have their own ring attire and they're synonymous, right? So if you're the bad dude, the bad guy on the tour, whatever the case may be, maybe it's more dark colors and more kind of evil looking colors. And if you're the good guy, like you're John Cena or something, maybe it's more flashy and bright colors type deal. Because you can really build clothes around a personality of a person for sure.
So the player themselves has 100% control over that. So our goal is really to have that player's personality come out on their jersey. So as much input as they want goes into the design of that jersey. So Bella Love, for example, when we signed her, literally that day, she sat down with the designer in the center and from start to finish worked with her designer to create her entire line.
Wow.
So all of her input, all of her thoughts, all of her ideas, her colors, all of that were right there. And she got to see them come to life. You actually can see some of that in one of her YouTube videos from that weekend where she was working with her designer to watch that process happen. Some of our people or customers, even when they call in or email in to request a jersey, they will give us some sort of idea like, hey, I like this image, and we'll try to work that in. The designers will, create that around that image. We've even had designers who will hand draw pieces for the customers, all just based off of what their wants are.
And I can vouch for that because I had some stuff drawn up, $2 fill, unique when I wear at tournament sites and stuff like that, and their designers just knocked it out of the park. I'm like, get $2 bills flying around in the jersey and stuff like that. It's a lot. And I said I don't want like actual Jeffersons or anything, but and they did a really good job with it. And I've got a couple of them, different colors, same design, and they knocked them out of the park. And it's just like they took the idea, and it was 2 takes, and it was they sent me the first one, looked it over. I'm like, hey, can we just take the face off the bill? Yeah, that's fine, because they were going to throw my face on. Right. I'm like, I don't want to wear my own face.
Yeah,
it's bad enough.
That might be a new logo.
Right. And then so and they just knocked it out of the park. So whenever I'm doing some PBA live streaming and stuff like that, I always got my nice H5G jersey on, and they do a great job.
If we can get Kyle to be a little bit more flashier, because he goes pretty plain with his jersey types, but that's his style. But we'll see if we can get him into something a little bit more custom. Yeah.
And another thing H5G does is they do a lot of giving back to the industry as well. They do a lot with the PBA juniors. I know you guys got a big tournament coming up at one of your centers, December, where it's a big team tournament, and it's paying like $5,000 for first. It's pretty awesome.
Go ahead.
Oh yes, the shootout. I think we're in our 4th year for the shootout. That's going to be at Sussex Bowl. 5-man team tournament that we bowl, I think, 3 games and then switch over to a Baker style. Just a 1-day event, but we kick in some cash for that, and it's definitely been brought in some pretty big names, and actually there's a lot of big names on the rosters that are coming into it this year.
Yeah, we're gonna live stream the finals too, December 2nd for them when they get to the step ladder finals. So it's gonna be a lot of fun.
This is all about you promoting your live stream. Okay, real quick, I want to ask this: when you say you got big names coming in, are you talking like big names that are like flying in from different parts of the country, big names, or big names like in Wisconsin, big names? Like, what are we talking about here?
I've had to put restrictions into place that you're only allowed 2 card members, either PBA or PWBA per team, and only one of them can be exempt. So looking at rosters right now, I have Chris Prather, Benji Martinez, Kevin McCune, Lindsey Boomershine, all coming in for the tournament right now.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
How does that draw from the Sussex area as far as people coming out and watching?
So our junior league actually has the day off that day because it is a Saturday. So a lot of them will come in and watch the tournament because these kids love watching the pros.
Sure.
I know a few years ago, AJ Johnson bowled the tournament, and there was a kid there that was watching, and he was ecstatic to see him in there, and it was awesome. You know, AJ's on our staff; he's a great guy. And when he found out that this kid was super excited just to see him, he walked outside when he was done bowling, grabbed a bowling ball out of his bag, signed it, and gave it to the kid.
Oh,
so it's just an awesome thing to see.
And once again, if you're not there, you can watch it December 2nd on the H5G page.
We got it, Phil. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Go ahead, Dwight.
Are you guys planning on doing any promotion for this tournament, like on your websites or anything?
Yeah, we have promoted. The tournament fills up really quickly. So we announced it, and within 48 hours, all 16 slots were spoken for, and they're all paid and confirmed for at this point.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's good stuff. Okay, so you guys said you also have bowling centers besides the H5G brand apparel company that you guys have going on as well. So tell everybody about the bowling centers that you have and kind of like, I don't know, your business philosophy as far as running a successful bowling center and what that is.
So the bowling side of it, that's been in the family, I think probably since the mid to late 70s. My grandpa got into that. He actually was one that kind of, I think, helped like build Blue Mountain Bowl. He ended up buying Brown Deer Lanes and then later Sussex Bowl, which my mom now runs Brown Deer Lanes, and then I run Sussex Bowl, or my wife and I run Sussex Bowl.
Good cover. Good job.
We'll edit that. We got to edit that up.
Yeah, I'll take it out.
And then my dad in the 90s, I think around 99, he bought Sunset Bowl in Waukesha. And then in 2017, Foxview Lanes also in Waukesha. And last year, my sister Jalen took over Sunset Bowl, and Cassie and I took over Foxview on January 1st when we took over H5G.
What's the key to a successful bowling center and making it go? Because we've had numerous different bowling operators on over the course of the last, 15 years or whatever the case may be. Everybody's kind of got their own take and spin as far as how they want to attack the marketing, how they want to attack getting new bowlers in the building and so forth. What is it for you guys?
I think it's like kind of a family environment for us. I mean, our bowlers are like an extension of our family. And then getting everything just to run. I mean, it's painful to go into bowling centers and try to bowl where like the machines just don't run.
Yep.
I mean, that's kind of the basics to it. Make the environment fun. It always helps if they can score in the house. I mean, obviously there's some bowlers that like to bowl on some more competitive stuff. But the typical average bowler, I would say, that's going to bowl leagues a couple nights a week is not always looking for that tougher shot. They want to shoot the 7.
Oh, of course. Yeah. What about the food side of things? Because like I live in Oak Creek and Classic Lanes in Oak Creek, they've got their bar with pretty much a full kitchen for the most part. And when you get to Friday night fish fries or whatever else, it's packed with people. They do a really good job with their food program, bringing people in that they may not bowl, but they're coming there to eat. And, you're still taking money from people that aren't even bowling at that point. How about the food side of things for you guys?
The food side's been really well for us. We've really extended our menu at our Sussex location. We put a broaster in about a year ago. So we do roasted chicken 3 nights a week. We expanded our fish fry menu where we have fried perch, bluegill, cod, walleye.
Nice.
Some shrimp dinners. It's just more like putting together more of a quality product and a consistent product than it is some of the maybe more cost saving methods that some centers try to look for.
Frozen
to save
pizzas.
a little bit of money with,
Mhm.
And
Yeah, no,
homemade
I know.
pizzas, definitely. We do a lot of homemade
Yep.
pizzas.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty good food there. They had a PBA regional back in August, hung out for the weekend. It was worth every meal. It was worth the extra loop in the belt loop.
Was that a live stream event, Phil?
It was a live stream event. I didn't want to say anything about
He
that.
live
but
streamed him eating your burgers. That's what he was live streaming.
I might have to do that.
Watch Phil eat.
Watch me eat. Maybe Phil eats. We can change it up. But with what I've seen you practice, you post when you're practicing in your centers, and I've seen you use that Kegel torch kind of thing. It looks pretty cool. Can you explain what that actually does for people that might be seeing it for the first time? Because you're not the only person I've seen use it, but you get it out there, a couple times a month. You see it and you're practicing on it.
So that torch is a light provided by Kegel that displays an image, a lighted up image on the lane of where you want to throw, and you set it at your break point, and you can move it to any board at any break point that you'd like. And as you move left to right on the approach, the image on the lane kind of moves with you. So if you want to move 10 boards left, you still have a spot to get to the 10 board at 40 feet or wherever that's set at. So it's a really great training tool. And then it does have a little trigger on the bottom of it. So if you actually hit your board at your break point, it does change colors to give you a little indicator. And you can raise that up and down to be like precisely onto the board or give yourself a couple boards.
Oh, cool.
So
When I walk into a center, no matter where I go, I look at the aesthetics of the center, and I am blown away by how beautiful your centers are and all the work that you've done, especially what you post on Facebook and for Sussex Bowl. But since we've had you guys in last, I saw an exciting post that you posted that you guys now have Specto. So we talked about that on the last show with you guys. So talk a little bit about what you're going to be doing with Specto.
So Specto is supposed to be going in hopefully this month at Foxview. We do have a good high school program, a great junior program at both centers. We're looking to kind of be able to offer that service to our junior and high school bowlers. And then we're still kind of working on how to sell the product to the bowlers. We're looking at probably doing some sort of a membership that they could get a discounted practice and come in and use the product and improve their game.
One thing we also do, and we did this a lot even prior to us having H5G when my dad was there, is we used to bring pros up and do clinics. And so this is something that we want to be able to utilize with that. So now when we run the clinic and we have the staffers here, we can use that that program to be able to just enhance the clinic that the kids are getting, or the adults too, whoever's in there.
When we talk about family atmosphere, like you guys said, most of these bowling centers make a ton of money, or at least it appears to me. I don't know how much they're actually making on, birthday parties, group events, that type of stuff. How much are your centers used for kids' birthday parties and stuff like that? Because I know it's popular, at least in our area.
We've gotten a little bit away from more of the traditional birthday party setup, because neither one of the centers has really a great space for setting up a party room.
Sure.
So we do a lot of time-based bowling, and we just kind of advised families that if they want to come and do a birthday party to kind of rent that lane space for the time that they're looking to have the event, and they're more than welcome to bring in cake or dessert and celebrate that way. But there's definitely a lot of families that come in and do that.
Hyper Bowl, isn't that something that was that the name of it?
Yeah, the only center I know of around Milwaukee that's hyper bowling.
That has it, right. Explain to everybody what hyper bowling is, because I'm assuming most don't know what it is.
Sure. Hyper bowling, kind of a twist on bowling. It's been compared a lot to maybe like a Top Golf type atmosphere. Your goal is actually to hit the bumpers. And they're all short games. It's 5 frames. You only throw the first ball.
Now, this is for adults. You're saying bumpers. I don't want people to get confused. This is adults bowling,
everybody,
right?
Yes. Everybody. Yes.
Okay.
Kids to adults. The bumpers are lit up color coding, and the pattern and the colors move up and down the lane. And as the levels progress, they get harder. But you're basically hitting a multiplier. So if you hit like a blue, you get a ×2 plus your pin count. And like I said, each pin's worth 100. So you get blue strike is 2,000.
Oh.
And as the levels progress, the targets get harder and harder to get to. And they put in some spaces in there where they're red, where you get an automatic 0. But you have to make contact on the pro level side of it. And then there's a couple other different versions, so where you can go in and kind of do some team building events where you try to like basically conquer the most amount of rail on the lane.
So what we talk about hyper bowling. So if a family of 4 comes out there, can they hyper bowl, or does that have to be called ahead, reserved, or how does that whole process work?
So the hyper bowling right now is just available at the Sussex Center. You can do online reservations or do walk-ins. Like I said, we're exclusively all time based, so that's where those shorter games come into play because you can't really sell them by the game. So it's available at any time that you come in a bowl.
How long does it take
except for league?
Except for league, right? Obviously, right. So if we're talking 5 frames, how long does it take to bowl one game of 5 frames?
It really would depend on how many people you have on the lane.
Say it's 4.
But I mean, it would just be the concept if you threw 5 bowling balls down the lane. So I mean,
so there are no spares.
No spares.
No
so
spares. Okay, that I didn't know.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, so it goes fast then.
Yeah, no, it goes pretty fast. There's a regular version and a pro version. The pro version you have to hit the bumper. You know, otherwise you get penalized. The non-pro version, you don't get penalized for not hitting the bumper, but you're not really helping yourself out by not doing it.
Right.
But there's 12 levels in each one, so they just progressively. It's kind of like a video game on the lanes.
Nice. That sounds awesome.
Since we had you guys in last, things are happening in the bowling industry, and what Phil's been talking about it for the last few weeks. Getting back to H5G, is the World Bowling League. Have you guys been contacted by them for apparel for these type of bowlers, or are you looking to get involved with them?
The league itself is not something that we have communicated with, or the individuals involved with it. We have worked more on the side with the players. And so if our players are choosing to go bowl that, that's up to them. So we'll still work with the individual players and sponsor them. We have our agreements and our contracts with the PBA. And so that's the side that we're working with right now.
But wait a second, hold on. There has never been competition for the PBA. So do they have an exclusivity with you that you can't use another league? Because in my opinion, why would they have an exclusivity that you can't use another league? Because there wasn't another league to be concerned about at that point.
To be honest, I'd have to look into depth into what our contracts look like. But to me, when I enter into a contract, it's a partnership.
Sure.
And so I'm looking at how do our contracts and what we're doing serve me and that other individual, because I'm a partner with them. And I want to make sure that something I'm going to enter into isn't going to hurt that partnership. And so for us, when we're out on the road and we're working with the PBA, that is a partnership that I take pretty seriously. So I would really have to look at if I were approached, how that would impact that before I would make any further decisions.
I'm going to pray for you. I am going to pray for you because if this is anything like Live Golf, and we here on this show think that's exactly what this is going to be, where they're going to try and split this bad boy, there is going to be a stupid amount of money involved in this whole deal. And it's going to test everybody involved to, we're talking about this, but who's to say they don't go to Tom Clark and be like, we'll give you $1 million a year to come be commissioner of our league. We want you to come run our pro league. Screw the PBA. We'll give you $1 million a year. What's Tom going to say? I mean, to me, that's what I'm saying. Like, everybody's like, oh, I'm going to be loyal. I'm going to be loyal. Okay, cool. But now here's a big check.
Money talks.
Are you going to be, or are you that life-changing money, man? We all got families, kids, whatever we got to do, right? I mean, they might give them enough money here at H5G to own every bowling center in southeastern Wisconsin. And we're going to buy all of them. Tell them this, we're done. I mean, that's why I say I'm going to pray for them, because there is going, if these guys are legit, and we don't know yet necessarily, we think they are, but if they are legit and they're going to start throwing around money like the Live League does in golf, everybody's going to be tested from that perspective.
And they're international already. I remember going over to the DHC Japan Invitational for the PBA before the pandemic, and there were Japanese players in H5G jerseys.
It was
great. I mean, it was spectacular.
So how many languages do y'all speak then?
One. Still only one.
Google Translate comes in handy.
Yeah, very nice.
Google Translate.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
We do have a pretty good international base, though. We have a very large Japanese distributor who we actually just did a really large order of 762 pieces for.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They're killing it over there.
Yeah, they're pretty popular.
They're killing it. All right. So what's the future? What do you guys, what's the goal? What's the this is the next thing we want to do? Is there a next thing, whether it be from a bowling center perspective, whether it be from the H5G brand, whether it be from thinking about doing another company, doing something else? Like, what's on the horizon? Because when you're an entrepreneur, very rarely do you just settle and say, okay, we're making good enough money. We're good. We're not going to do anything else. Normally, an entrepreneur is always looking to figure out how to make more money and what else can they do to bring in more money and make a bigger impact on whatever they're doing. And you all are obviously making a big impact on bowling already.
I'm going to let Cassie answer this one, and I'll see where that goes.
I was thinking of world domination as an answer, but
Right.
So the World Bowling League and H5G is official. That's how this is going. She just answered it.
Right, it's been announced officially.
Now we know for sure. Okay, go ahead, Cass.
No. So you're going to see in the upcoming year, we have some new staffers that we're signing. And with that is going to be coming more product lines and merch lines. And so that's something that we're going to be spending this next year at H5G, kind of really wrapping our brains around and our arms around and embracing that. So kind of like with this Brad and Kyle deal, we're going to be doing that with more of our staffers and adding staffers on top of that. So we've signed some really exciting new people. And so we'll be sharing that in January. And so we're going to start expanding in that role. And we're really going to get back to what we're really good at and making sure that we can do that really well. And so that's kind of where H5G is headed. As far as the centers go, we have always been really good at making sure that we're making those improvements in the center and continuing to expand the centers. And so we're going to keep on that track, I think, for now. I'm
not saying another center is not in the future. That I'm not against that.
You're not against it, right?
It's just kind of like the area which way to go with it. I mean, it's not something that we're looking to get like that. We'd be out of state. And it really can't be more than an hour away, which kind of you're stepping on your own feet at that point. But so that's a possibility, but there's nothing really in the works on that side of things right now.
I've got another one. And the last time we talked about this, I brought it up and I'm going to bring it up again. I'd like to know your thoughts on youth bowling leagues in general, and how you view it. Because as I've stated before, I have a kid that's been in a youth bowling league, but there are no coaches. So essentially I'm paying for, I'm paying $13 a week and I get 3 games of bowling and no coaching. So it's essentially open bowling for 3 games a week and nobody's getting any better on any of these bowling lanes. And, if you're talking about baseball or basketball or football, whatever, you have coaches that are teaching your kids. And the expectation as a parent is, if I'm paying all this money, my kids are going to get better and learn the game and start to progress. And for whatever reason in bowling, that does not seem to be the case, at least not now. When I was growing up in Kenosha, back in the day at Sheridan Lanes, back in the 80s, we had coaches on every set of lanes. There was a parent coach that was certified that was coaching whatever 2 teams were on their lane. And we all progressively got really good before we were all said and done. It doesn't seem to be the case anymore. How is it for you guys?
So both our centers have pretty good junior leagues. We do have coaches in them now. Again, they are parent volunteer coaches, but they are certified through USBC for safe sport, just like they need to be. The hard part comes in where you were saying, are they the gold or bronze or silver certified? It depends on what they want to put into that. And so not all of them are that.
So what is that? What is the cost of that? So let's say I said to my bowling center, hey, look, I'll get certified and let me be a coach, right? How much is that going to cost me? Or do you as a bowling center, are you paying for these parents to get certified to coach in your leagues? Or how does that whole process work?
We haven't paid for that yet. I don't think we've had a parent approach us and ask us that. I honestly don't know what the cost of that
It's a couple $100 for like the bronze, the lowest level. It's not that expensive.
So what's the difference in the 3 levels then? You're saying bronze, silver, gold, or whatever it is. So what's the difference?
Well, if you get in the bronze, it's a lot of the basics. You get a few advanced concepts. You're looking more at the physical game of the player, that type of thing. When you get into silver, it's a lot more. You're looking at the equipment. You're looking at the overall picture. ball surfaces, transitions. How
Right. So if
bowling balls
you're
act,
coaching
yeah.
the youth leagues that are like, 7, 8, 9, 10 years old, you really only need the bronze. You don't have to go all crazy into the rest of it probably until
Right.
you're more closer to high school.
Yeah, and they actually do a thing called USA Bowling where they give if it's real basic stuff you can look for as a coach.
Yeah.
That they can go out, that coaches can go to these things, and I believe they're not expensive, like $50 a session or
Yep.
something. And they can go and at least get the basics so they know if they're watching their kid or other kids or that type of thing. It's very basic, but you got the basics down as a coach. So
Yeah, I mean, I just think that's a big deal. Now, I do remember this from the last time we talked that nobody heard except us. You all have incorporated your H5G jerseys into your bowling leagues, right?
Yes.
So they sign up and they get how many games a week? Is it 3 games? I'm assuming, right? 3 games.
Yep.
3 games, and they get a jersey for whatever their league fee is per week, which is what was it, $12.50 or $12 or something like that a week?
Yeah.
Yep.
I should have had this written down last time. I had to get a calculator out, but yeah, I believe it's around. It's a 20-week season, and it's just under 220, I think, and that includes some scholarship money, the jersey, the bowling, a year-end buffet.
A year-end
and
what?
A year-end food buffet.
Yeah.
What?
So like a little pizza party at the end.
You get a jersey and I get a food buffet? What the hell? I mean, you're far away from me at Oak Creek, but damn. Okay, so talk about the scholarship money, because that's something else I think that if you have young kids that they don't realize that there's scholarship money even involved for bowling, maybe until you get to the high school bowling tournaments or whatever. People that may not understand that some of these younger kids might have an opportunity too.
It's definitely the scholarship side. Bowling, I think, has that pretty much locked up. I don't know any other sports really that at that age that you can go out and participate in and earn scholarship that young.
Right. So if I have an 8 or a 9-year-old, how would there be scholarship opportunities for them, let's say?
Just in the junior league or just in general overall?
Just in general. Yeah. Junior league or otherwise.
I mean, the junior league, we set aside X amount of money that goes in the prize fund. It just pays out just like a standard prize fund would pay out, except that they're not going to walk home with cash. That's going to go into their smart account. And then there's other opportunities along the way to bowl city tournaments. I think the Pepsi tournament is another one.
State.
State.
Mm-hmm.
Those are all options that the junior bowlers have. And then once they get into, I don't know, what is it, U12 it starts at, or is it even younger for some of the bigger junior tournaments that are around the country?
Some have U12s. Yeah, like Elite Youth Tour, you guys partner with them, and I know they have a U12 division for the kids.
What would you guys say would be your advice to parents that have never taken their kid to a city or state tournament as far as what that is like?
It's chaotic.
It is. It is. I think it's definitely worth it though. It's a great experience. It is eye-opening for both the bowler and the parent. But it's a great experience. You learn a lot. You learn a lot about your own game and what you can do to improve it. And I think you learn a lot about yourself as an individual as well.
Yeah, I loved bowling state and city tournaments back in the day. Just was such a fun time. And we didn't have high school bowling when I was growing up, so that was pretty much the only chance you really had, and that was it. That's all you had. Yes, Phil.
Yeah, I've gone a couple times down and watched that Elite Youth Tour in Chicago. Deandra Beatty runs it, and she's got a great staff that helps her out volunteer wise, and they give the kids a full experience. They live stream the tournaments. They award ceremony after it's all done. They do a first class job down there. If parents want to see what a first class youth tournament is, take the drive down to Chicago and when they have one of those on. And yeah, it's a pretty good event.
A lot of people miss your tournaments, Phil. Cassie and Stefan, thanks so much for coming on. I'm Steven. He's Stefan. Owners of H5G brand. Thank you so much. And hopefully, cross your fingers, we actually have audio on this one. That'll do it for another edition of the Spare Time Bowling Show. Enjoy the rest of your day. Have a good one. Toodles.